Hey, fourth graders, I am just going to do a real quick review of what we have done this week as we're learning about our partial product multiplication. So keep in mind again, partial means part, so we are finding part of the product so that we can add them together to find the full product. This is leading up to the standard algorithm that you will learn in 5th grade. So this week we kind of started out looking at, say, a double digit times a single digit. And we looked at place value for this one. So the first thing we did is we circled the ones. 7 times 8 is 56. And remember, that's ones. 56 ones. And then we moved over to the tens. And we said there's 40 times 8. 40 times 8, or 4 times 8, is 32. And since that was tens, remember 40 times 8 is 320. And then we added them together to get the final product. So these were our partial products. This is our product. And we started out with 2 digits multiplied by 1 digit. And then we moved into a couple ways to learn 3-digit multiplication. And we can still use this method with 3-digit multiplication. I can say 125 times 6, and I'm going to do the same exact thing. Same color. So I can do my ones. There's 30 ones. I can do my tens. That's 12 tens, which is 120. Remember that the 2 is in the tens spot. Or I can do, I can do 600s. 600. So it still works with 3 digits. And then the other way that we looked at with 3 digits was decomposing it, to break it apart. So when I do this method, I'm going to decompose my 3-digit number, and I'm going to say that's the same as 100 plus 20 plus 5. And since I'm doing 125 times 6, I keep that 125, but I still have to remember I'm multiplying it by 6. And one method with decomposition is I take each one of these, the 100, the 20, and the 5, and multiply them each separately by 6. So the first one I'm going to pull out is the 100. I'm going to rewrite it 100 times 6. I underline them as I do this so that I don't forget that I have to use all of them. And that addition sign tells me I'm adding. And now I'll pull the 20. It's always going to be times 6. And then I'll pull the 5. And what we have right here is 3 different ways to see 125 times 6. That's 125 times 6. This also shows 125 times 6. And then this shows 125 times 6. Now to finish solving this, I'll go ahead and 100 times 6 is 600. 20 times 6, well, I can think of that as 6 times 2 tens, and that's going to be 12 tens. And then 5 times 6. I can solve this one mentally. 600 plus 120 is 720. 720 plus 30 is 750. So these are the 2 methods we've looked at a lot so far. And I want to introduce a third method that's very similar to this one. It's another way to decompose, very, very similar to what we've done. We'll have 4 methods in all by the time we're finished. So if I look at the 125 times 6, I'm going to write this one horizontally as well. And the beginning steps are exactly the same. I'm going to break my 125 up. I'm going to decompose it into 100 plus 20 plus 5. And then that all has to be multiplied by 6. And the only difference here is I'm going to take these one at a time. So I'm going to say 100 times 6 is 600. And then I'm going to pull out that 20, and I'm going to say 20 times 6, 2 times 6 is 12, tens, it's 120. And then I'm going to take the 5 times 6, and that's 30. When I add them, I get that same answer of 750. So this method is very, very similar to this method. The only difference is here, instead of keeping them horizontal as 3 separate groupings, I just went ahead and separated the groupings. These are both big steps in getting us used to algebra and making us start seeing things as groups and steps in a process. So right now we have 3 different ways to look at multiplying multi-digits. In the big picture, you can use any method you want, but you need to know these methods because sometimes on those standardized tests or the map tests, they're going to start out with a specific method. So they might have this with some of these numbers blanked out and say fill in the blanks. Or they might have this one and say what's going to go on that second line. So it's important that we know all 3 methods. End of the day, you'll be able to use any method. And again, these are sort of preparation. These are little steps to get us to where using the standard algorithm is going to make sense. And you'll learn that when you are in 5th grade math. So right now, keep this here. Copy these in your notes if you need to, but I want you to be comfortable with all 3 methods before we learn method number 4. Thanks, guys.